Hello, guys. Welcome to another DW live show number 14. Hey, Dom, who knew?
14.
Who knew we'd get to 14?
Was it the 24th of March we did the first one? Something like that. It was quite early.
Something like that. Yeah, it was
Quite early
late
in the whole
March.
lockdown process.
Yes, and we've got more coming as well. Hurrah!
I know, we've got
hurrah.
tons planned. It's really good.
I know. Got a really good show today. We're going to be
Yes,
joined
we
by
do.
Paul Black from two monikers. He's got London Convention Bureau or London and Partners. You take your pick. I don't know. But Paul's a head of business events, so we're going to be talking to him about all things London related. You know, how they've reacted to
Yes.
COVID. You know what's going on now, what the future holds. Paul with his crystal ball will be here.
If any of us have any idea what the future holds.
Yes. And just to say, we're welcome to everybody watching on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, on our Twitter page, and on, I think, Dom's LinkedIn page as well. Is that right, Dom?
Absolutely. On LinkedIn too. Yeah, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We are across all channels right now.
Yeah.
Should we do a couple of hellos?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so good afternoon, Mandeep. Hi, how are you? I haven't seen or heard from you for ages.
A fantastic Sunday night blog from Mandeep, by the way.
Oh, really?
Everyone check it out. Yeah.
Oh, can we put it in the wrap up?
Yeah, we'll put it in the wrap up.
Or Mandeep, link it here. Ben Morrison, good afternoon. Anika, nice to see you again. Diane, oh, she's just upstairs from you, Neil, downstairs from you.
Downstairs, yeah.
Ben Morrison, Delphine, good afternoon. Veronique, good afternoon. Melanie Osborne, Felicity, Sean Duncan, Craig McGee. Afternoon, Craig. How are you? Hope business is good up there in Scotland. Kezia Roper, Janice Finity. Well, we got loads of people commenting already. Say hi to us, please. I love this bit. Maurice, Shirley, Jackie. Shirley actually said, I run the Destination Southampton Conference Bureau. I'm very much looking forward to hearing from Paul. Felicity, what's going on? I can hear 2 or 3 people talking. Well, there's 2 of us talking. As Susan and Victoria. That's where we're up to right now, and I'm sure there'll be more. Good afternoon to everybody. Lovely to have you along for episode 14 of DW Live. With me, I'm Dominic. Neil, who's on my... Oh, I pointed the right way. He's on my left.
Just go that way. He's over there. So, yeah, we've got a really good show today. I mean, just before I go any further, though, I just want to say a couple of things. One is thank you to everybody for, continue to watching, telling people about it. We really appreciate it. And, we'll keep bringing these as long as you guys keep watching. So don't forget to tell us, any shows you want to see, any people you want to see on it, that kind of thing. We've got about the next 5 or 6 lined up. So, got tons of things coming your way. So can't wait to tell you about that.
Because we're not going anywhere. Now we've started.
No. We're quite happy with lockdown. No, we're not. So also, just wanted to tell you about a couple of things. We've got another lockdown social coming soon. Sound effects, Dom.
Dun, dun, dun. I wish you'd prepped me for that.
I should have told him about that. Just to let you know, we're going to give you more details about that. But all I'm going to say is pencil your diaries in for the 18th of June. So it looks like we're going to have a really fun show then. Again, anyone who came to the last one, please, tell everybody about it and look out for it on the group. We've also got a free calendar listing going on the group at the moment. So if you have got an event, like a live event, like a webinar, like a virtual meeting, like a social, list it with us. Just search it on the group. You'll find it. I'll put it at the top of the group and maybe in the wrap up as well. And then the other one is a bit of news from me. I don't really do this kind of thing, but I am delighted to have been asked to speak on a panel which is chaired by Nicola Mendelsohn, who is the VP of Facebook Europe.
It's really cool.
Wow, I can't believe it. It's at something called Createch, which is part of a meeting called CogX, which Paul's going to tell me why it's not in Tech Week anymore. I don't know, but it's next. I think it's on the 9th, so it's next Tuesday, directly before the show next week. That should be an interesting one next week, though. Just to let you know, you could be on your own.
Are we going to get tight for time?
Yeah, I think so.
Don't worry, I've got this.
So look out for. Well, I'm just delighted to be on that. I'm going to be shouting about the Delegate Wranglers. It just shows, how the good work you guys are doing, and that we're getting that message to kind of, someone that high level.
I think it's really cool, and I think it's not just testament to the work that you've done, but it's testament also to like, this isn't easy. You've built this group. It's not easy. You don't get nearly 20,000 members just by clicking your fingers and hoping. And also this has got way bigger than I think you probably ever thought it would.
Yeah.
So I think it's absolute testament to the work that you've done with the group. But I think it goes actually a little bit beyond that, which is testament to how powerful the use of groups are on Facebook and how powerful they become. And I'm made up for you that you get the opportunity. I think it's going to be really cool to do it.
I can't wait. Just a mere 30,000 people watching. Oh my God.
We're getting somewhere close to that, right?
Yeah. Anyway,
not looking at the counter just yet.
No. On with the show. So yes. I am absolutely delighted to have Paul Black on the show. The man, the myth, the legend. Say hello, Paul.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. Hi, everyone. Nice to see
you. How are you? How are you doing?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Yeah, how are you guys doing? All okay?
All good there. How are you coping with lockdown, first of all?
Well, it's I think firstly, I think I find myself very lucky because I got married and I moved house last year. So, I think we're very fortunate that happened last year rather than this year. I really feel for those that have had their weddings postponed. I don't know. I think the honest answer is you have your bad days sometimes when you perhaps read the news too much and you maybe have a few tough meetings, but then you also have those good days where, you have great conversations with industry colleagues, and you really feed off that positivity and, and try and sort of, it helps you work out a plan to navigate out of it. So, bad and good, but I think there's more good coming, which is good.
And what about, the important thing is, what about the hair? And I do note that Dom is wearing a hat, which says to me it's getting way out of control.
Don't even go there. If I turn my head slightly too far, right or left, you're going to see the back of it. It's going mullet. It's horrendous. You've
definitely got a bit of Tiger King going on there.
Tiger King's better. I get told in the morning I look like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. So
oh, amazing. Paul, I just want to say massive thanks for coming on the show because, at a time for, convention bureaus and destinations, it's not an easy time because I guess, your members and the people who are coming to you for answers and asking you questions, and I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Sure. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us a bit about just a quick recap on your background, how you got into it? I know you were at New York and Partners and stuff.
Yeah. So, I'm originally from Salisbury, so shout out to the Southampton Convention Bureau. That's very near from where I'm from.
Salisbury, massive.
So I grew up there up until 18, and then I studied at Cardiff University, and I studied European Union Studies with languages. So obviously the referendum result scuppered part of that degree, but I've still got the languages, so that's good. I then worked for a group tour operator up in Derby and Nottingham. So I did operational stuff for concert tours and educational tours. And then my first entrance into the events industry was around 2005, where I worked for a Spanish theme park resort called PortAventura via their representation company, Lotus. So I did that for 4 years on sales and marketing, as well as looking after their schools market. And that's where the industry got me, loved it. And really it went from there. So after that, as you say, I worked for Hills Balfour for 7 years. So I led that team with, we had 8 convention bureaus, worked with a brilliant team to sort of grow that. And my main client was NYC and Company, so New York City Convention Bureau. So obviously it was a huge privilege to work for such an iconic destination. Learned a huge amount, worked with some brilliant people. And then last January, at the end of January, I moved over to London and Partners, and that's where I am now.
Fantastic. So what's your role involved there at the moment, Paul, with London and Partners?
Well, sure. Well, firstly, I think it's important that we really sort of clarify in terms of the role, doesn't it? So I think, so London and Partners, we're essentially the international trade, investment and promotional agency for London. So in a nutshell, that basically means we're trying to convince companies to set up their headquarters or their European headquarters in London. It's to try and help small, medium companies grow in London to larger enterprises and then grow internationally. We also have a study department. So we're trying to convince students to choose international students to choose London to pursue their courses. We have Visit London, which is like the tourism port of London. So we have a great web page there to sort of give you all the different things that you can do if you're visiting as a holiday or a visitor. And then finally, and let's say most importantly, we have London Convention Bureau. So that's where I sit within that business unit. And essentially our job is to try and convince as many people to organise their meeting, their convention, their incentive, their sports event here in London. And my role obviously sits within that convention bureau. So I specifically, when I joined, started working on some of our big citywide events like London Tech Week. That was obviously a big thing that I worked on last June. But now it's sort of pivoted a bit, if I could use that dreadful word. I'm actually very annoyed with myself. I've used that word. So it's slightly changed. So now, obviously, during this, we've listened to what a key concern is for our local community, and a big part of London Convention Bureau is we have partners. So we have well over 250 business event partners. So that's venues, DMCs, hotels, and the UK market is key for us in terms of recovery. So that will be my key focus point looking ahead, to support those guys recover as quickly as possible. And really importantly, hopefully support all your Delegate Wranglers community and everyone in the UK market as best we can to secure as much business as possible and help all those businesses recover quickly as we can.
Fantastic. So what kind of things are you doing for your partners, during all this? Because I guess, everything, it's affected us so massively, including London, especially at first as well, when it was a completely, the place with the biggest casualties and everything like that. So what have you guys, you had to pivot and, rotate.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
What you do? We can't let that go twice.
I blame myself. Sorry, Neil.
he put it in there. It's his fault. So what kind of things have you been up to?
Pivoting as bad as unprecedented was right at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I guess what we've been doing. Well, again, I think like with everyone, no one has the definitive answer, and it's. And I think the honest answer straight away is you're just trying to do the best possible job you can to support people, support businesses, and do that in a positive, collaborative way. And I think that is going to be the great legacy of all of this. I think on a very high level, our senior management group have a place at the table when talking alongside people like Visit Britain, but talking through to the TIER group, which is a Tourism Industry Emergency Response Group, which is a working group, the Events Industry Board, EVP, and they feed directly into government. So our senior management group are feeding into that to obviously make sure the key areas of concern in our industry are listened to and then hopefully addressed. More on a day-to-day level where I sit is I guess basically just trying to manage that disruption as best we can. So when it initially kicked off end of March, sort of April, it was looking at all those event postponements, which initially moved to last quarter of this year, and now some are moving more into 2021. Obviously, there's cancellations with that, but really importantly, we're still trying to develop a pipeline of business for London. Where it's good, and it's always important we talk about events sometimes have long lead times. It's business medium to long term. So the team, our associations teams and our US and European teams are still working on that pipeline to try and keep business coming into the city, particularly at the moment, which is really difficult because there's so much uncertainty.
There is, but is it moving?
I think yes, slowly. We've received inquiries from different territories. We did from the US in the last couple of weeks, as well as one or two from Europe. I think domestic is definitely going to recover the quickest. I think we just need collectively that clarity, and I think our business event partners at London Convention Bureau have been brilliant as well, because they're giving this information. They're seeing what business levels they're getting, and obviously we're on the flip side just trying to help them, I guess, with these resilience pieces as best we can. Yeah. So, we've done a few, we've done webinars and things like financial planning with KPMG, contracting with, and again, another dreaded word, force majeure, what that means. And we did that with our legal partners at Taylor Wessing. We did a great webinar with Laura from Stress Matters on mental health to support the guys there, which, it's so important. We're talking about this much more openly, so that was good. So, there's loads of things we're trying our best to do to make sure we listen to our community, because they're going to be key to that in terms of how all of us recover, not just in London, but, across the UK.
So just on that, Paul, just on that, I know that we were talking earlier. Key to this is getting some legislation from the government. And I know the BVP and, the people in London and Partners and stuff have been talking to them. Do you know what the current status is? I mean, this is $1 million question, but do we have any idea of when things are going to be coming, decisions and guidelines and things are going to be coming through for us?
Well, I think clearly there can be concerns for all of us across the events industry is, safety, cash flow and jobs, So to answer that directly, from what, and a key point of this actually is that this is our route to government, as in when I say our, I mean the events industry, So with, so what they're saying is government will come out in the next couple of weeks. There will be clarity in terms of giving buyers and organisers reassurance in terms of what those minimum sanitation standards are, some of that social distancing measures, training staff training, and equally allow venues to have time to look at that and help them in terms of reopening. So that's
because you've seen so many guidelines coming out now from venues and groups and things like that. This is our practice. This is what we're recommending. What we need is an official recommendation as well. I mean, it's brilliant work what everybody's doing, and I love the way they're all on the front foot doing it. Yeah. That for me is perfect. But it'd be good to get the official guidance on that as well.
Absolutely, and Visit England are working that, and Visit Britain have had a really important role in everything that's happening as well to sort of help the industry. They've got a good team there. So absolutely. And I think there will be some kind of type mark that's created to allow venues and organisers to sort of feed off that and feed in and make it official and all that stuff, which is really important because, this safety piece is key for us in terms of recovery, because once that safety piece is in place and people understand it, it then comes, the next really important, which is business confidence. We've
confidence,
got confidence. The events industry is often orientated around business confidence. And sometimes it's quite sensitive around perception. So collectively, and the Delegate Wranglers community have been brilliant with this. People like Martin Fullard have been fantastic in Mash Media, really pushing this out. But the live events sector is so important for the UK. We always talk about value. Yes, that's great. But for me, the most important stat is the number of jobs. It's 700,000 jobs. So I think the business confidence piece is so important once we have clarity on that health and safety piece.
Fantastic. Dom, how are we doing in the chat room? We all right?
We got we got loads of people. There was a bit of chat that the audio wasn't working, but I think it actually was just one person. So I was just keeping a check on that. Lots of people saying congratulations, Neil, for the Facebook thing. It's really irritating. The Facebook app doesn't appear to let you scroll back up through comments all the way to the top like we were able to. So I can't see everyone that said hello. But I will just jump in and say, look, if you've got a question for Paul, well, we've got him here. If you've got a comment or opinion on anything that we can chat about here, then please drop it in the comments. I'll keep an eye and interrupt these guys when they're talking.
Yeah. Also the same on YouTube as well. Hello to all the YouTube watchers.
Yes,
please
and actually,
drop a line on there as well.
Yeah, and I know there's people watching on LinkedIn as well. Although I know one of them moved over here to Facebook, but there's people watching on all over the place. So, hello to everyone if you're watching. So,
Paul, this is a tough question. You might not be able to answer, but what kind of campaign are you working on? A specific, strategy and campaign at the moment? And if you are, can you share, a bit about it, or is it about to be launched? That kind of thing.
Sure. Well, it's I guess it's another key word, isn't it? That everyone talks the last 2 months, but right now it's been resilience and it's just helping support. And I think that's not just a London thing; that's an everything. Everyone's doing that, and everyone, again, I keep banging on about it, but it's so positive how people are helping each other. That collaboration, that support will get out of this a lot quicker. But in terms of London, so building on from that resilience side, we've in the last month particularly, we've really focused a lot on our virtual assets. So we've got Virtually London, which on the visitor and sort of Visit London side, it's really growing those experiences which you can experience from your sofa. There's obviously you can look at attractions virtually, and the whole point of that is to make sure London is continuing to inspire you to come and visit when we're allowed. And then we
posted just jump in there, Paul. We posted a link to Virtual London on our website. So if you search on the news section, you can find it there, guys. If you want to have a quick look as well.
Yeah, and as always, it'll be in the wrap up at the end of the show because we should include all links. So make a note of that one, Neil.
This wrap up's going to be massive.
Our marketing will be very happy with you guys. So thanks very much. But yeah, a good point on that as well. Is that page that you send is on our site visits. So it's virtual site visits. We've got over 30 partner hotels, venues joining that. And I think, social media right now, I think I saw a stat the other day that people are spending 20% more time on their social. So it's really important that we keep adding to that to keep people, thinking about London, and then hopefully inspire them to come back when things get better.
Yeah, and there was also that the other campaign as well, Paul, that we publicised for you guys as well, about developing new businesses and new talent and things as well. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah,
tough time to start a new business, I guess. So
really tough, and I think our industry is so creative and innovative, isn't it? And it's a lot of people start out businesses, especially when we look back at 2019, that was a really strong year for our industry. So we've got a part of our London and partner side, so our business unit. So we have like what's called a business growth program. So we have a summer cohort where basically it's 3 months free of charge learning on things such as insights, it's meet the corporate, it's mentorship, it's financial planning, it's how leadership, so it's all free of charge. It's 3 months, and we want to make sure that hopefully we're doing a good job and supporting our partners with our other webinars, but this also to support businesses setting up in London. And like I say, it's 3 months, and we've had a really good pickup, and I think looking further ahead, we'll hopefully have more tourism and business event people included on these programs, because we want to make sure we're, again, just trying to do the best job we can just to support them, because it's a really tough time.
Yeah, again, details about that on our website on the news section as well, about how to get involved with that and how to join in. A couple of questions, Dom.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump into a couple of questions. So Donna Duffy just it's question and comment, I guess. Are you concerned that people will simply not wish to travel and use TfL because it's not been made safe?
Sure, I think it's a completely valid question, and
absolutely
to answer. And public transport in any city is key in terms of how it functions. So I mean, what I can say with certainty is right now what TfL are doing, and they've had a whole new sort of enhanced cleaning service, which they actually launched at the start of the year. Right now they're working, I think, around 75% of capacity, but in terms of the level of service, but it's only around 15% capacity. So right here and now, it's trying to ask people to avoid rush hour. It's asking people to try and cycle or walk if that's possible, or not travel at all. So looking further ahead, I think, with time comes different policies, clarity of what come from government. And I think that's what we base on how that comes. But I think
I was just going to say, Paul, the important words you said there were here and now. This is what it's like now, but by the time we get legislation and we know where we are, we're talking, a month down the line or whatever, things might have changed slightly by then, in terms of how we need to behave.
Yeah,
absolutely. But there is sorry, go on.
No, sorry, mate. After you.
I was just going to say, there's also a level here of personal responsibility. If you don't feel comfortable to travel to an event, don't go. The chances are there'll probably be an online version of that event anyway, but we do have to feel comfortable, and no one's going to force anyone to start going back to events in a few months' time. It will absolutely be choice, probably now more than ever. And if you're not feeling comfortable about any element of the travel, about the arrangements at the event, about the social distancing policies that are put in place, whatever happens, it's a very simple, just don't go.
Absolutely. And I think, as we, when we talk about, trying to push confidence, that's got to be done in a responsibly way. Exactly that. And I think, we will have a new campaign on that. It's coming soon. I can't really talk about it too much because it's still in a work in progress, but it is absolutely to push confidence of people spending money in their local area and our city, but then importantly, doing it in a responsibly way, because we're still, I think we're in a really crucial month right now in terms of how we come out of it. But the most important thing in all of this is safety, because, we've got to mitigate anything to avoid, second, third peak.
Yeah. I always liken it to, sorry, Tom, go on.
That second and third peak has come up. That second wave has come up a couple of times already in the comments. I've seen it, and justifiable anxiety over the potential for that. And I don't think any of us know exactly how this one's going to pan out. Especially when you see the sites that you see of the numbers of people on the beaches down at Durdledor or Bournemouth or wherever else we're seeing. Who knows what the impact of all of that's going to have later down the line.
I always liken it, Paul, to like having a hamstring injury. You know, this, you kind of think you're all right, and then you come back too soon. And if you come back too soon, it goes again. And I kind of feel that this is a bit what this is like. We've got to make sure safety and everything, and which breeds confidence, which breeds us getting back to normal. It's so important, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. And I think, you know, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, it's difficult for everyone. But I think one thing I always think is live events. You know, that's what we're all talking about, isn't it? When the live events come back. And, you know, I think when it first started, people were saying this is, you know, live events are never going to come back. And I completely disagree with that, because live events are so important. Yeah. It's so important who we are, how we interact, how you motivate a team, you know, how you foster personal development, how you make money. You know, people organize events to make money, you know. So in terms of recovery, in terms of which businesses want to do events, that may be the key variable alongside, you know, the safety and that side. So, you know, I think, and that's true of London as well. It's sort of, you know, it's so important, the business event market to London and our hotels and our venues. And, you know, these events have positive impact on London. You look at some of these venues and how they are the cornerstone of that community. When I talk about Excel and Newham and Business Design Centre, you know, in Islington, and Central Hall Westminster in Westminster, and QE2, they have such an important part of that sort of mini ecosystem within London. And, you know, these events attract foreign investment, they create jobs. And it's so important we always come back to that, because events are a highly effective platform to engage your audience in a really way, which makes people money, which is why they do it, you know. So, and
the knock-on effect, the knock-on economic effect from an event is huge, isn't it? Absolutely huge. It's
massive. And we were talking about this the other day, Neil, when I was doing my little walk around the neighbourhood and doing an old-fashioned phone call with you. But
was that the same time that Neil was kicking the football into the goal in his back garden?
I think he was pretending to be Ian Rush with his Crown Pates Liverpool.
Scoring screamers. Can we just say scoring screamers, not just kicking?
Half volley, top corner. But the other day, he sort of I love to find the value of this. So if anyone, any of the guys listening in knows the answer to this, great, please send it over. But how many good ideas or new initiatives all come from that social element of an event? So you have
most of them, yeah.
And if you could put a value on that, I think it would be huge. You know, new ideas, new collaborations, new projects, new schemes. You know, that then leads to growth and stuff. I reckon it'd be massive. But I diverged. But we were talking about that the other day.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Just got a quick question here, Paul, from Shirley. It's a really good one as well.
Yeah,
really prominent. What are your plans to kickstart destination marketing internationally? Because everybody's in the same boat. And when? Shirley's from Destination Southampton Conference Bureau, so I guess really kind of in the same boat as you, really.
Absolutely, and it's been great talking with other convention bureaus from the UK. We do that a lot through MIA, who have done a really good job with that and bringing people together. I think in terms of destination marketing, because sometimes it's quite complicated, isn't it, to explain what that is. Yeah. But I think right now we're pushing that virtual side to make sure people have content to sort of teach themselves about London, to hopefully be inspired by it. So that's happening right now. In terms of, I guess they call them triggers, don't they, in terms of when we start doing a bit more business development, that longer term pipeline stuff, good to do now, because, live events will come back. So it's important we're servicing that and trying to, secure future business. But I think the key bit is the safety thing. So I think, if we have clarity, then the events industry, as professionals, all of us, we don't like uncertainty. No one does, to be honest, but particularly us in the events industry. And if we have that sort of clear guidelines, that will help us. And I think that will be an important stage for us then to start looking to the future and approaching business. And, the guys at Southampton do, a brilliant job. It's a great destination, Southampton. All our CVBs do a great job, for what they serve their community. And, it's going to happen, and we'll be ready for it. We'll work alongside VB. And a good point with that as well is Visit Britain. Obviously, they've got Meet GB coming up as well in June, which is on the 17th.
Virtual Meet GB. Yeah,
virtual Meet GB. And on the 23rd of June this year, that will include British buyers, because there's a really big piece in this as well, that we've got some of the best buyers, event agencies here in the world, here in the UK. So what we want to do, frankly, is convince those guys to, when they have looking at booking events, to keep them here in the UK rather than book them abroad. So it's great Visit Britain are doing that. So it's the 23rd of June. So for those British buyers that are listening, do sign up for that.
I think that's one thing that's coming out of all this is the you touched on it earlier, is the sense of collaboration. everybody's working together to get us back on an even keel again. And that's really good to see. I mean, that's what we're particularly passionate about, that the Delegate Wranglers. So I love seeing that you're talking there about Destination Southampton, and they could be seen as a rival, but that you're all working together. It's really good. I think it's amazing.
Well, I think like I say, confidence is quicker if you work together to sort of I spoke to a whole convention bureau last week, and we're both talking about that we need that safety side, but the Delegate Wranglers community have been brilliant with this because it's collaborative, it's support, it's positive, and that narrative is so key for us during the next 2-3 months, because companies will need that confidence, they need that reassurance in order to place business events sort of looking further ahead.
Yeah, sure. Anything in the chat room, Dom?
No, not that we immediately need to go to. No, I think there's just a few points being made in there, but I think there's some stuff being talked about in comments that I don't think we need to bring up here, because it's not going to get us anywhere.
Yeah. Sure. So I've got a question for you then, Paul. Tell me about the future. Mystic Paul, what does the next, how do you see the next, 6 months, the rest of this year shaping up? I mean, because somebody made a comment in the calendar on the Facebook group earlier about, do you think there'll be any real events in London, kind of, let's say, big scale events in London before the end of the year? Do you think, we're kind of not writing off 2020, but I mean, in terms of, do you think it'll be virtual or kind of a hybrid until then, and then obviously the future of 2021 onwards? I know, listen, it's really unfair of me to ask you that, because I know you're waiting for legislation, but what are you guys kind of thinking?
Well, yeah, tough question, but I think the honest answer again is, no one knows definitively, but all the sort of insights that we see from industry associations, as well as the stuff our guys do internally, is, we're hoping September is a positive month and people will start looking to place business. And with lead time sometimes being 8 weeks on small domestic events, if there's safety in place, it's responsible to meet, and people can apply those, then hopefully we'll have some events take place during the last quarter. There are still events in the last quarter, not just in London, but everywhere. It's so difficult for them, isn't it? What to know exactly to do. But, when we first did it, our convention bureau guys were working on a lot of those postponements that went to last quarter. Not all of them have now moved into 21 to 22. Yeah. Some of them are still there. So, but it comes back, like I say, to those two key pieces. One, safety, and then secondly, let's really drive that confidence campaign for businesses.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Paul, tell me, what is the first thing you're going to do when lockdown is broken?
See family and friends like everyone. I can't wait for a pint in the pub.
Nah, come on.
Maybe two, but yeah, I think it's a really tough time, isn't it? And I think everyone always wants to look back on this and say they did the best job possible to help everyone. I think I've really benefited from talking to your close circle of people, whether it's friends or professional colleagues. Obviously, Neil, you and I talk a lot. Chetan from Micebook's been fantastic for me. With his team and Zoe. I think that real close circle has been so helpful, and I can't wait to have a drink with everyone after it, because I think we're all done with speak a lot of the time virtually or on phone calls. To do that face to face will be great. I can't wait.
Oh, we're gonna have a cracking party, I'm telling you now. we're gonna have our 20K party, hopefully.
I mean, that was in the works, wasn't it? Just before this happened.
Devastated. Yeah, we were looking at kind of August, and gonna have a huge party. But you know what? We'll just postpone it. We're gonna have an amazing party. I've just noticed a question there from Monica, by the way. Will outdoor spaces be utilised more in the future? Because London's got some amazing outdoor spaces. Do you think is that being done now? Are you getting any inquiries in for outdoor spaces? I know some on the group have come in, you see.
Yeah, specifically not at the moment for outdoor spaces, but I know they're looking at it, absolutely. So, hi, Anika. So, yes, they are looking at it because there's certain spaces in London. I know they're looking at Earls Court, for example, at the moment. That came out in the press last week. And also outdoor areas. So, yes, they are looking at it. But, again, right now it still comes back to hopefully getting clarity in the next 2-3 weeks. Because I think, Well,
Paul, thanks very much for coming on, and really appreciate what you guys are doing, not only for your members, but, for London as well, and keeping us all informed about all these kind of new initiatives. I know for a fact how hard you guys are working, and, how it's not an easy time as well, because you just haven't got the answers and people are looking to you for the answers. So, keep up the good work, mate. You're doing a brilliant job.
Yeah, thanks. No, like I say, it's the real positive that comes out of this is community working collaboratively. Yes, of course, people are competitors, but right now, that collective effort will get us out quicker. And good luck with Career Tech. So that's next week.
Oh,
yeah.
My fingernails are already getting gnawed down. Hopefully it'll be all right. Hopefully it'll be all right.
It's a great showcase of the UK and London's creativity scene. So it's a really good event. It's part of CogX, which is that AI festival and breakthrough technology show. So it was meant to be at King's Cross across that campus, but obviously now it's
oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So
well, I will be shouting about the Delegate Wranglers, and also about more importantly about the event industry in general. How much we're fighting it, and we're going to come back stronger. So anyway, so Paul, thanks a lot. You've been amazing as always.
Guys, great to see you.
Thanks, Paul. Really appreciate you joining us.
Cheers.
See you soon.
So Dom.
Yes.
Show 14.
Show 14 done.
Next week, I tell you what, next week's going to be a busy one for us. We've got 2 shows next week.
We do. You can do the Tuesday. I'll take Thursday.
Okay, so on Tuesday we have got, he says, looking through his notes that he can't find. That's how professional I am, you see.
See, 14 shows in, and he can't even get his notes in front of him. Off the top of my head, I think it's Verity.
Verity, yeah. We've got Verity giving us a LinkedIn masterclass, so I can't wait for that. Because I do use LinkedIn a lot. Probably use it quite badly. Probably use it not the way you're supposed to. But so I'm really looking forward to that. No pressure, Verity, by the way.
Yeah, you're putting an awful lot of pressure on her.
Yes, and then we've got a bonus show on Thursday.
We do. We have a bonus show on Thursday, and this is kind of continuing. It's continuing the theme that we're taking, which is covering various topics that apply to online events. So obviously, right at the beginning, the very first of these shows that we did was looking at the online event platforms.
Yeah.
And then we looked at a couple of weeks later, we looked at the experience of online events. And next Thursday, we're really fortunate to have Rob Everly from Bright Elm. Now, in the background, away from Delegate Wranglers, but Rob has been running a ton of webinars and sessions. Neil, you were a panelist on one of them last week, looking at different aspects of the event industry. And they have actually already covered the subject that we're going to, but we wanted to bring it to Delegate Wranglers, and we're going to be looking at monetizing online events. So that's whether it's selling tickets for or the sponsorship of, but it's monetizing. Probably in its entirety, but I think focusing more on the sponsorship side than anything, because it's a really, really huge area that we haven't put an awful lot of time into discussing yet. So that's next Thursday, but it's not at 1:30. And now I'm going to look like the unprofessional one.
No, I think it is at 1:30.
Oh, is it?
I think it is at 1:30. Slick.
God, it's awful,
super
isn't
slick.
It?
We're super slick.
I looked down at my notepad and suddenly realized that I didn't write the time down.
Yeah, you know what? We actually write this banter, to make it look like it's kind of natural,
It's so well rehearsed, isn't it?
Oh, but anyway, yeah. So look out for details on the group in the coming weeks. Guys, keep getting involved with the group. Keep supporting things. Keep using the supplier hour, keep using the event hour, use our calendar. We've got so much things coming up. Look out for the next social, the 18th of June should be a good one. I was telling Dom about what we got planned, so and
it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun doing last one. This one's very different, but it's going to be really, really cool.
Yes, it will be. So I think that's it from me, Dom.
That's it from me as well. So let's just say, join us again next Tuesday, 1:30 with Verity, talking about LinkedIn and how to use LinkedIn. It's a LinkedIn masterclass. And then again at 1:30 on Thursday, the 11th of June, with Rob Everly from Bright Elm, talking about sponsorship of online events. Thank you very much for joining us again. We will see you all next week. And you look out for the wrap up that Neil goes away and hurriedly writes now to make sure you get all of the info.
Massive wrap up. The massive wrap up this week. Thanks, Paul, for that.
Absolutely. All right.
No,
we'll
thanks,
say goodbye
everyone.
and we'll see you very soon.
Take care, guys.